Good morning all. Today I want to work on this thing. Specifically, I want to put two displays on it. But the first thing I'm going to do is something a bit odd. I'm going to put the two displays wired simply in parallel and on the same address, so that when commands are sent to them, they both respond. But they're both going to send, I presume, acknowledgements packets back over the I2C. And I can imagine they'll be slightly out of step with each other, so you'll get slight elongations of the packet durations. So I don't know whether it's going to work. I think it will, but you might get some funny effects. And then, of course, later on I'm going to change the address of one of these, and then in the software, of course, you can set an address to decide which OLED you want to actually write to. And I just think it would be useful to have two OLEDs here, so we can get more information on these displays. Now this is currently giving me the humidity and temperature in the shed. It's 25 degrees. I've got two miners on in there, heating the shed up, even though I'm not out there. Well, that's fine because they're mining cryptocurrency. And now that I have my new rooftop solar system, did you see my video on that? If not, it's because you're not subscribed to my second channel. Look down in the description below to find Julian's shorts, and there are a couple of videos relating to the rooftop solar. So those ant miners are generating Litecoin primarily and Dogecoin. Dogecoin is very high at the moment. And of course they're running on, if I look at my meter, yes, it's running backwards, free solar electricity. But back to this thing, I have here an envelope which should have, if I cut it with an inappropriate cutting instrument, hopelessly inappropriate, there should be two OLEDs in here. Now, I'm not sure, there they are. Oh, they're in little cases, that's amazing. Wow, they're protected against the postal system. I'm not sure whether they are like this one, which is ground VCC SCL SDA, or the other way around, because they vary. So let's take a look at those. Incidentally, can you let me know if this goes over 25 degrees C? Okay, it's slightly over. Well, let's say if it goes over 28, in which case I'll need to run out into the garden and open the shed door because it's all getting a bit warm out there. Just let me know if you could. I'll try and keep an eye on it too. Now, do we get the little... Actually, we don't. That's interesting. But these appear to be both VCC ground. If this would focus, it probably won't. But they're VCC ground, both white. Now, SCL SDA, yes. So the SCL and SDA stay the same, but ground and VCC can change. Now, I'm going to make this dual display adapter on a little piece of green prototyping board today. But later on, I think I'm going to make a PCB. Get rid of that. And I was thinking of a way to put a couple of links on. Where's my pointer? So that if you put the links on horizontally, then in VCC goes to out VCC, in ground goes to out ground. If you put the links on vertically, in VCC goes to out ground, and and in ground goes to out VCC. So by putting the links on in two orientations, you can swap the polarity of VCC and ground, and that'll allow both types of OLED to be placed on this board. I can't do that really with the prototyping version, so I'll just wire that for these two displays. But I'd like to be able to, on a PCB version, have links for changing that polarity, so that solves that problem. Now the other issue is, depending on whether this board is plugged into a breadboard next to a Nano, or into the female header of a Nano adapter board. Actually, that's not a Nano adapter board. Neither is that. This is a Nano adapter board. I want to be able to pick off SCL and SDA. Now, they appear on A4 and A5, which this has on these header pins. So I think actually what I'm going to do is have header pins again, so that you can put a couple of headers on if you want to link SCL and SDA to A4 and A5 here directly on the Nano. Or if you're using one of these boards, then you wouldn't put those two links on because they'd be up here on the IO ref and something else. Can't remember. Oh, RST possibly. So then you'd put flying wires on to link to this A4 and A5, or even the ones marked. Are they on here? Yeah, SCL and SDA. Oh, actually, oh yes, they're up here. So you could put flying leads across from this board over onto SCL and SDA here. So the board could be used for both nanos in breadboard and nanos on these breakout boards. So I'm going to need one of these, and it's going to sit sideways like that, which is actually what that little piece is doing. Oh, we're up to 26 degrees. What did I say? Yeah, 28. I need to rush out and rescue the overheating shed. So putting these displays side by side, I need to, let's have it so that it sits on here. So maybe the first OLED I'll do in CDEF. We can go and get a little 4-way female header for that. So let's use a little bit of blue tack to fix one of these 4-way headers in there on positions C, D, E and F. I'll solder that in, and then I'll work out where the second OLED is going to sit. And I was just wondering actually whether I could get that sensor board up on here, because all it really needs is VCC and ground, and then I can have a flying lead which you can use to come over and go out to there. So yeah, let's get these on. Okay, solder the first socket on, and then it'll just be a mess of underwiring on here. But as I say, I would like to make a PCB version of this with all those sort of link select options. Right, the next thing I need is to get some of these out. We'll get both of these displays out. Fit links. I love these little boxes, they're excellent. Fit the links. I have to get some straight header arrays. Plug them in here and see what my approximate dimensions to have them sitting side by side are. So a couple of 4-pin header arrays. So on the back here you can see the IIC or I2C address select with 1D in address. Is that right? No, I think they've shortened it a bit. So you've got hexadecimal 78 and hexadecimal 7A. The resistor is currently across the 78 link. Now I know that on the U8X8 and the U8 lib, U8G lib, I can't remember what it's called. It defaults to this hex 78, but there is a command you can issue to switch it to another address, and it would in this case be 7A. So let's solder these. They're quite a tight fit in the holes, so I don't think I need blue tack for these. They should go in relatively straight and square. So now I can plug one of the displays into my header here. Oh, that's well tight, which is good because it won't wobble around. So I can work out now which of the set of letters I can use to have this sitting next to it, and it is NOPQ by the look of it. Yeah, NOPQ, and those will sit side by side. Good, I'll solder that into NOPQ. So that's soldered in. Let's take a look at how they look sat side by side. That one there, that one there. Oh, I think they look quite nice. Yes, so dual displays, and as I say, possibly I could get the touch switch, which on this system does the control of a relay out in the shed. Now that was originally for a fan. I'm not using it for that at the moment, but I'm sure there's another use I can put that to. Yes, I think it'd be quite nice to have the touch switch there. Now that's a 3-pin connector, and I don't think I have any 3-pin arrays. No, I just got 4s and 6s here. I could put a 4-pin array on there, I guess. Yes, if I put the connector on the last 4 positions but 1, so that will be XXXA, then this will sit adjacent to this, and actually you won't be able to plug it in the wrong 3 holes, so that will kind of define where that goes. So I think I will put another 4-pin connector on there. Right, that's it. That is my array. It's a shame these top edges don't quite align, but that'll be good enough. Now there is a considerable weight on here, so it's going to sort of have a tendency to want to tip down. I think I've got some rubber feet, so I might put a couple of those on there. Ooh, that might have to be a bit further back actually, so that this doesn't tip down too much, especially when you touch the touch sensor. But anyway, what I need now are the pins for this thing. Now on here I have got a 7-pin array, it looks like. We've got ground and VCC with a pin between them. Then there's 2 gaps, and then we've got A4 and A5 on the Nano, and A4 is D, so SDA, D for 4, and A5 is SCL. I just remember the SDA and the 4 kind of go together. Right, just eyeballing this, it looks like my 7-pin array will start at H on the top here. So let's get 7 pins. That's here. Where are my pliers? They're there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that will go into holes starting at H. So the touch switch will come out of there. That makes the input floating, so it's thrashing backwards and forwards on the touch switch. Let's take this display out. And my new board will go here, so that goes in A4, which is there. So that's how it'll sit. Now what's it leaning on? Oh, it seems alright. I think the underside of these connectors is just touching the front edge of the plastic board, so that would sit there okay, and then the touch switch will go in this new board. Okay, I think I like that. So now it's just a case of wiring it all up. Let's put this one back for the moment. That goes it's going to cause an issue if I don't get this right, isn't it? So that goes into A4. Can't see very well, I haven't got my glasses on. And that goes into those 3 points. I'll just check that and then fire that back up. Yeah, that looks good. Let's put power to that. Wait till it boots, and then the display should come on. And there it is. It's 27.5 degrees in the shed, and the touch switch still works to turn this blue LED on and off. Good. I was just thinking it would probably be worth trying to implement... Oh, we're over 28 degrees. I'll have to address that. The polarity reversing header. So I think I'll try and do that. I'll put one on each of the 2 displays. Don't need one on that because they're always the same arrangement. Well, I believe they are. So I'll break some of these off. Right, there are the pin arrays. Now I've decided that for... Whoops. VCC ground displays, I'm going to have my headers go straight up because VCC and ground on here are in the same positions left and right. VCC on the left, and it's VCC on the left on the Arduino, and it's also VCC on the left here. 5 volts is there, and then a couple of grounds. So yes, VCC ground will be straight up. Oh, that one's tipped over slightly. And if you want to do ground VCC display, which this is, so I can test that, you'll put them acrosswise. So let's try and wire all this up. Right, I've opened the shed door, so we've dropped the temperature quite a bit now. That's fine, that's sustainable. Now I think I'm going to put ground up from the ground pin of the display to what is effectively going to be this corner pin out ground. So out ground will be there up to the display, and then out VCC is on the opposite corner, so that will go round to the VCC pin on the display. So I'll solder a couple of links in for those two, and then the ins will be in this arrangement. Let's wire it up. Well, I've done the link headers and the wiring to the two power pins to the power pins of my two OLEDs. Now, and this is incredibly fiddly because I'm kind of opening up a section of bare wire in between two insulated sections, wrapping it round the pin. So I'm using this fine nib pen as a former for doing the wrapping round, and then it has to poke through the holes in order to run out to the various points underneath. Yeah, it's right fiddly. But now I need to do SDA and SCL, which are these two end pins here, and I think there's a reversal between these two and these two. So I'm going to have to come down with that one and then take that one over the top, sort of thing. Or something like that, I don't know. But this is taking hours. It would have been easier, frankly, if I'd just gone straight to a PCB design, I think. Right, after a lot of very fiddly wiring, let's get in close on this. I think I've got this all done with SCL, SDA, no, SDA, SCL, nothing, 5 volts, nothing, ground. My links are going vertical for the type of display that I've just received, which has the sequence VCC, ground, SCL, SDA. I think I'm going to try this. I haven't wired up the touch switch yet, but I'll leave that out. I just want to see whether the display works. And this will also tell me whether I can have two displays completely in parallel on the same address. They should receive commands and respond with acknowledgements pretty much in sync. Can you get away with that? Let's find out. So in go the two displays. I've taken the power off. On goes the board to here. Now it starts at A4, which is there. That's ground, that's 5 volts. So that looks like it's how it's meant to be. Let's do a live power up, no rehearsal. Put that somewhere. Power up. Will it work? It's just doing a boot. I think it's, well, anyway, yes, that does work. Now, is it dropping a few packets, if they are called packets on I²C? Oh, it works for a while and then it sort of seemed, oh no, it's working. It must be a radio issue. If I put my hands in a certain position, I'm having reflectors and detectors, and that's working, yeah. Now those should be exactly synchronized. They look like they're slightly timed apart, but that just might be response times of the two displays. But yeah, it seems that it works when you write to what the Arduino thinks is a single display, but is actually two displays. It does behave itself. So that means now I can change the address on one of the displays. Oh, the other thing I want to do is try redoing the link positions and going with a display that has ground VCC. Yeah, let's do that. So let's take out one of these displays. That means I can get to the links, well, sort of. Let's take the links out and rotate them. 1, 2. So they will now go in horizontally, like so. And that will be the other configuration for this type of display, which goes ground VCC, SCL, SDA. Let's plug it in, power it up and see if it works. Is that just very distant? Well, it does. Yeah, that's pretty good. That alarming delay. Yeah, these new displays are a little bit higher contrast. They've got a blacker background, which is good, and I haven't even peeled off the protection sheets yet. But yeah, that works fine. So let's do a bit of reflector, because the shed is some distance away. And yeah, that's sending the temperature, which has now dropped to 21 degrees because the miners are off, because the sun's gone in and I don't have free electricity. But that works. You can talk to two displays as though they're one, and they just both respond the same way. The next step, and I'm not going to do that in this video, will be to change the address on one of these and then start working on software to treat them as two separately addressed displays. But yeah, I'm happy with that, which I've achieved today, so cheerio.